Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you guys wanted to head on over to patreon.com/jonathanrector, you guys can send some support and some love over there. I say it every week, and I'll say it again. I do have big plans for my Patreons there, and everybody that's been waiting for a while, thank you so much. The fact that you still stick around means a lot. It really does, and I want to make it worth your guys as well. So I got some things cooking that once Worlds in Peril is done and we start, spreading our wings a little bit, we'll be able to have all that fun stuff. Lars, Jonathan, talking about Patreon. Can I contact you on Facebook instead? For sure, yeah. If I would recommend, I know a lot of people out there, especially when it comes to Facebook, they like to connect directly to a person. And I don't know if I should be more vocal about this or not, but I'm vegan, so a lot of the posts I put on Facebook, I like to use Facebook not necessarily as a way to connect with people, but as a way to promote artwork and other things that I think art friends and people might like. Now, in saying that, that's what my art channel and my fan page is for. So I would ask that everybody check on over to that. Personally, what I use my personal Facebook account for is just spamming vegan propaganda. Trying to, I know how it works. Everybody's sliding their hands up and down, and, it's like an infinite scroll, and you just get lost in it, and minutes become hours, hours become days, and you're in the Facebook cycle. So I like to spice it up with a little dose of reality in any way that I can there. But I don't take Facebook very seriously in that sort of way. So if you want to contact me, I would recommend it. I would ask politely, please. Please head over to my Facebook fan page. I believe you just go to my website and you click on Facebook, jonathanrector.com. Facebook should take you right there. If it's not, you can just check out, I believe it's Jonathan Rector Illustration. I believe it is. So anyway, yeah, by all means, you can send a message over there. I appreciate it. So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody? Is everybody getting pumped up? So, was "It's Raining Men" the theme song of the show? Was it good? Everybody get a little kick out of it. Today, what we're going to be working on is, let me just delete all this stuff here. Some more Worlds in Peril. We're almost done. We're on the home stretch-ish. I've got about 5 or 6 pinups left, which we'll be working on today. And then I've got 4 double-page spreads, and those sound massive. And it's exciting for 2 things. One is I get to show you guys and you girls. I think there's not enough people talking about double-page spreads in Manga Studio or just seeing people draw double-page spreads. And what the hell, I figure doubles is some content for you guys, and I hope you guys will dig it. I hope you guys will like it. I know I did a few for Manga Studio 4. So it'll be a little refresher for me as well, because I think double page spreads, they're not done that often, right? They're not done that much. But you would be able to do it. So anyways, so what we're doing right here, this is a character here. His name is Butch. And he's sort of like anybody that's played, he reminds me of a mix between, if you guys have played Mortal Kombat, reminds me of Kano. I tried to go with a Kano look for him and the Hulk. Or a Juggernaut. So that's the design I came up with this guy, Butch. He's half cyborg, half man. All machine, And a lot of the colors I tried to work with him, tried to get some villain colors in there and all that stuff like that. But I dig him. He's one of my favorite characters. All these big muscle-bound dudes, I just like drawing them. They're just a lot of fun. Another thing I should point out, too, is, okay, so I'm still using the Huion GT220. That's what we're drawing on today. I will briefly talk about it, but I am open. I'm an open book. If you guys got comments or questions, please ask them specifically about the tablet. That's cool. That's cool too. If not, no problems. No problems. But I'm working on a review. I will be recording the last part on Friday. That would have given me a week to use this. So that way, I wanted to give myself a little bit of, put it through its paces just to make sure if I'm going to recommend it or anything like that, that I don't want you guys to, I don't want anybody to get the rough end of the stick. So I've already taken the plunge, and I will say right now that it was a bitch. It was an absolute bitch getting this thing set up. Things would work. It would work one day, the next day wouldn't work. Contacted support, they got back to me, but when I started asking them questions, it was Friday. So, hey, they live too. They get weekends. I don't know how big their team is over there, but I can't really slight them for anything. They did the best they could, all that stuff. I was kind of getting bummed out, and I actually, and I can't believe I actually did this. I kind of feel like an asshole for doing this, but I got to the point where in the email, I said like, if I can't get a solution, I'm gonna return this. I didn't say like anything of this is unacceptable. Anything poopy like that. This was, yeah, somebody's about right. It was about 900 on Amazon. It was about $1,000 Canadian. So I emailed them. I was getting frustrated all hell. The lady, she sent me an email on how to fix things before Friday, and like that was fine. But the problem was like it just wasn't clear. I believe they're from Hong Kong, so the English it's fine-ish, but it's not 100%. I'm not gonna slam them for that. If I was selling something and somebody in Hong Kong bought something from me and I don't speak their language, you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it goes. That's business. You do the best what you can. But anyway, so she got back to me. She gave me a list of what I could do to fix it. I guess either I misread something or not. I'm going to put this in the tutorial as well, but since we're kind of rambling on, I just want to show you guys. This will be really quickly here. This is the driver that comes with the Huion, and it's fine. There's nothing special, nothing whatever. You guys know the art we're doing here. But in the image that she sent me to make sure things were off or on and drivers and stuff, was this boy was checkmarked with a red circle on it. And all she said was something about check with support tablet PC. So I had it on, and it was, oh my God, as soon as I literally clicked that off, this thing has been amazing to work on. Amazing to work on. So I will say right now, you guys can hear the review and all that stuff, I could highly support and recommend this thing. I think it's fantastic. It's doing everything I wanted it to do, and everything I hoped it would do. And that's great, because there was a time there where I was actually getting kind of concerned. I bought something like this, and it was like, well, sorry, champ, you're out of luck. That's never a good feeling. So anyway, that's good. That's good. All right, chair's getting real creaky. So we've got our rough here. Just want to tighten it up there. You guys saw it was a little bit of a thumbnail that we blew up. We got the big size here, but this isn't enough. I'm going to need to tighten this up. One thing I have been doing in Photoshop, not so much here. Oh, sorry, I rambled. I went off there. The reason why I talked about this tablet here is, to me, like right here, this is actually very comfortable to work on, this size. But as I look at the stream, everything else is like... Normally, when I was working on the Cintiq, the 12WX, it probably would have looked something, the stream would have looked like probably closer to this. And that's just, that's how it was the most comfortable. But, this to even this or this is actually very fine. When I'm inking, even about like here is good. And yeah, like Manga Studio is saying, I bet Jonathan's loving the extra real estate. Oh, man, big time. So what I wanted to go over too is I guess some more workflow stuff. I've been messing around with Manga Studio. I highly recommend you guys check this stuff out over here too. If you go to File, there's a whole bunch of things that Manga Studio has little secrets of that I haven't had the time to just dig in, And we've talked about this bar up here. You can set it up to whatever you want. Lately, I've even got it because there aren't any express keys, like keys that I can press on this monitor, which is kind of a bum out. But thank God for Manga Studio, right? Like you can just move this stuff here. So yeah, I don't have a key to press, but really my hand is only on my keyboard touching my space bar. Increase and decrease the size of the brush. And then you can start going over here to your shortcut settings and actually just remap keys, which you can do anywhere. But now I even have it on my pen here where it's, I think the first click here, I change my eraser. A little bigger, and then when I back click, it'll go back to my pencil. So what this lets me do, what you guys are going to see, is we're going to be going in here cleaning and building. That's sort of what I'm trying to call it. In Photoshop, I'd use more of a textured brush and sort of paint it out. There's a new another guy I just found on YouTube that's been amazing. I have a ticket to make a video for you guys just talking about some of the channels I check out that you guys might like, other artists and stuff. Noah's saying, John, Noah, John, you got a suggestion for a mainly red colored costume character to draw? I don't think I understand that question. If I got, or are you asking, have I ever had a character that was mainly red? And JPD74 is saying the Unova and Huion both use the same UC logic drivers, digitizers. With a few insignificant exceptions, they're the same tablets. Right on. Somebody actually told me that after I had purchased this, saying that I guess I could go cheaper by buying, I think it's the mono price or something. I always get the names mixed up. But, what are you going to do? Live and learn. All right, let me go over here. Just need to have my reference up here. All right, so we're going to get this guy's face in. What I've been trying to do lately as well is start getting away. And this might sound really weird, especially when you're doing comics, American comics, superheroes, muscle cats like this, is I'm starting to get, what's the polite way of saying this? Mainstream comics in a way, like your Jim Lee's, Finch's, Capullo to agree. Capullo, not so much. But these other people that they just have a style that's very like, we all know the Loomis method of drawing, like, body, and like, this is very Jim Lee-ish, I guess, crudely drawn. And everything's sort of like this it's drawn like this. This is how we always start things up, and you can still see it in here. And I'm trying to break away from it. And what I'm trying to get into is more of a, I guess, shapes and cartooning. Trying to bring that more into it. So instead of just drawing a character like that, like maybe we'll just, and this is gesture drawing as well, but it's where I want to go, where I don't need to really figure out like, okay, so here's the ribcage first and here's the pelvis first. This is the energy, and there's a lot of artists like Ryan Otley I talk about all the time. This is why I said Capullo. I've noticed a lot of his pencils are like this as well. And then you can start carving out your shapes that you want in here, your face, and you only really need just a few things just to capture an emotion or a character, and then when you go in there, you can start tightening it up. But like this sort of stuff is, I don't know, just getting me more excited to draw instead of having to worry necessarily about all the detail of figuring out things to be perfect. Um, because I hope you guys know, and I try to talk about it a lot, that comics is such a diverse art field that there should be a place for everybody to draw the way they want to draw. I have talked a bunch of times about certain artists to look at for anatomy, and I still believe that you should know your anatomy, but sometimes I'll just use this as an example, and I hope I don't offend anybody with the comment here. I like Alex Ross. I love his artwork. If you don't know who Alex Ross is, please open a browser right now and spend the next 10 to 30 minutes looking at Alex Ross's artwork. I think he's fantastic. He's a very I don't want to say hyper realistic, but it's realism, but with superheroes, and it's cool when you see your characters in a light like that, right? I have bought a few pieces of artwork from him, meaning comic books that he's done, and it always looks good. It's always got this feeling to it. But then you put it next to something that does a more cartoony thing, and I'll just use Ryan Otley for an example. You could go right to manga if you wanted to, and like the action scenes and even the drama, for me, and this is just again a style choice on my side, it's so much better. It feels more like in a cartoon you can express more without it feeling real, right? And I know there's a place for everything, but it's sort of like that's the road I want to keep going down, and it's more interesting to find out stuff like that. It feels like I'm scratching new parts of my brain, just going everywhere, just sort of figuring out, oh wow, like when I first started drawing, and I think some of you guys might have been like this, is you started drawing anime and manga as well. Maybe you started with American comics or something, right? But I know I started drawing anime because all of my favorite video games were from Japan for the most part. And that whole art style, it wasn't that it was awesome or anything, but it was different. It was kind of like in the 90s, Image came around, right? And I caught Image towards the end. It wasn't like I was a huge comic guy growing up or anything. But Image, that whole feeling that I hear people express when they talk about Image, about it being like, oh, it was like this whole fresh wave of stuff. Uh, it's like I was getting that through video games and concept art in manga, mostly anime. I still remember to this day a buddy lending me a VHS tape of, it was a Street Fighter, the animated movie or something from Japan. Fucking amazing. You'd watch that and I'm just like, holy hell, that was so good. And then you'd go and you'd watch like an action movie and it's not the same. You know, there's like there's just not the same. So anyway, I know some people had some questions there, so let me go ahead and ask. I did want to say as well, this show is for you guys and girls. So if you had any questions, please leave them in the chat in all capitals. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer them for you if I can. I would love to do so. So let me just scroll up because I know somebody was talking. Noah was talking about red. Who do you suggest I draw that is mainly red? Oh, you were asking for somebody to draw that was red. The Red Hulk is pretty red. Thank you guys. Thank you. Have I ever drawn the Hulk? Yeah, I have. I would say, well, I don't want to put up in the fan. Here, I believe actually my Twitter. Let me just open it on the other side. Twitter. Or actually, here, we'll just go to DeviantArt. Because I know I have a Hulk on there. I'll just bring it on the screen here. And I like it. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it turned out really well. It was one of my first times trying to get serious, and I use that in quotes here, of just understanding Manga Studio 4 at the time. But now even looking at it, like I love rendering. It's very fun, and I don't want to stop doing it. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm in this weird transition where I'm just trying to find some, like I don't want to say a style, but just explore different styles and see where that takes me here. Because there's a lot of rendering, and I don't want to say this looks hyper realistic because it doesn't. But there's enough anatomy in there that I think it sells it that it could be here. So let me just drag it onto the screen here so you guys can see it. So this is a Hulk one. Let me just zoom in. I'm pretty sure it's... Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you guys can see it well enough or not. Yeah, so this was back in 2012. Actually, if you go to YouTube and you type Scribbles with Jonathan, type Hulk, I've recorded this entire process. So I think it's 2 parts, might be 3. And I just kind of talk about going through this. But there's some stuff in here that I love, like going into the rendering. It's oh man! But I remember setting this up, and there's still the chunky anatomy, but I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going at here, talking with you guys here. So let me just go back there. Okay, so let's get back to this guy. And I don't want to do a total style change on this project here or anything like that because the client paid me to draw, right? And at the time, I was drawing in a certain way. So it's very Marvel, DC. At least that's what I'm trying to think of. With just blow out the anatomy a little bit here. All right, so we're gonna have these giant pecs getting stretched here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy and paste this. There's no reason to not do so here. Just figuring out some of the anatomy here. If I was asked would I voice act, I don't know. I don't think my voice would. I don't know. Maybe. It's the worst that could happen, right? All right, so we got this here. And we got these. He's got these big metal shoulders. So I'm just going to divide them into 3 chunks. Let's keep it simple. The English accent? No, I butchered the hell out of that. That was so embarrassing. The answer is yes, and then how much does it pay? There you go. So today at lunch at work, I went to, you want to hear, I don't know, say this is conceited, but I know everybody does this, so it's not really anything to be ashamed of. But I was going through some of my old work and some projects that I was doing and all that, and I was looking back. I don't even know if you guys even remember me talking about a project called Guildborn last year. I was just looking at the art style there. It's pretty close to what I would do at my day job, like the art style that they want me to do. A lot more cartoony and stuff, but there was some stuff in there that was actually really, really fun. And I had a little, I don't know, about 5 or 10 minutes before our lunch was done, so I just opened up a file in Photoshop and just started kind of drawing in that cartoony style. It just felt fun. I think that was the main thing. It just felt fun. Matador. Jar, I know you said you would talk about the tablet later on, but just want to point out to you how to set up Tilt if you use or need it. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for actually bringing up Tilt. Tilt. So I'm going to show you guys what it is, and from what I know, no, these Huions don't support Tilt. I thought that I never needed Tilt. Tilt, tilt, tilt. Yes, I'm left-handed. I want to say this. Okay, if there's anybody in the chat that is a Patreon subscriber, or you were at one point and you purchased my pencils, the first thing I noticed once I went into Manga Studio and it started working anyway, is that like I was experiencing the complaint a lot, or I don't want to say a lot because it's not, but a few people were actually telling me this. Or like, hey, you know, download your brushes, but some don't work. What the F, you know? And I could not figure out why. There's nothing I could do on my end. I wasn't sure why people were experiencing that. So I got this, and all of a sudden, brushes weren't working. And I'm just trying to figure, like, this is just a tablet that I can draw on. Why? Why don't they work all of a sudden? So here's a hot fix for you guys. I'll be doing a proper video for this for the brushes, but anybody that does have it, if you load up any of my brushes here in Manga Studio, we'll go to Pencil Brush 2. That's what I'm using now. This is what I usually normally use. Right down here, if you go down to your tool property, which one is it? Right here, brush size. I had it max, small, nothing. All it is you click this little square and it's set to change parameter, blah, 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 blah. I had tilt turned on. And I guess because I was using a Cintiq at the time that the certain, I don't know what settings I had going on, but tilt was just on. So as soon as I turn tilt off, this is what the brush looks like here. Let me just draw it real big for you. This is it. It's like this. Right? So if you draw your lines, kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, but kind of whatever. So what tilt does is, let's say we've got your tablet. So what I'm using right now requires you to be drawing like that, directly on. And I mean, I'm not changing my hand. My hand is tilted like a comfortable angle. But the difference is with like a Cintiq or anything that has tilt support, when you draw like this, it affects the brush. If the brush settings have it on. If they don't have it on, you'd never notice, okay? But what this lets you do, this one down here, is you can start doing, like if you had like an actual like pencil in your hand, a real life pencil or a pen in your hand, and you start to do like this, I don't know, it's hard to describe, kind of like you just let your wrist rotate and the pencil just kind of like, you'd kind of be able to draw on the side, like if you guys have ever had a pencil and you're drawing this way and it has that slide down, I believe that's the tilt there, okay? But even though I do this action with my Huion, it'll only come out like that. So I turn the tilt off and it works. I honestly can't tell the difference. So there. And I realize only a few people, like the ones that are in the chat or anybody that watches this, will be able to know that. So I will be making a video just to address that for everybody that's interested. All right, let's get this guy going. Let's get this going. Let me get the hop. JPD, that guy's a good tutorial on pillows reviews for shading. Okay. Oh, so there might be a solution for tilt, maybe? Unless you guys are talking about something else there. John, since you're left-handed like me, Has a right-hand person ever told you you hold a pencil wrong weird? Probably. That's just them right-handers trying to be superior, trying to keep the left-handed man down. Stephen, John, what do you think you'll work on after Worlds in Peril? So what's happening is, like I was just talking about Guildborn, how I'm interested in that, and the style change, blah 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 blah. What's happening is I'm falling on bad habits of starting projects without even starting them yet and leaving them. So I've made it a commitment to. I'm saying it now too. You guys can hold me accountable to it. You can tell me to go to hell, all that stuff. But the first project that I'll be working on after this is Castle Dracula, and I guess we can kind of go into that. We can actually talk about some cool writing stuff. I don't know if you guys are into writing. I know it's a little different, but I figure if you're making your own comics, you're probably trying to learn how to do some some writing. But yes, Castle Dracula. That's what I wanted to want to draw next. There's a lot of cool ideas, some concepts that I've done. I just want to see what happens where it goes. That's all. And there's not really much story to it, just some things I want to draw. So that's where I want to put it together and make a story. It won't be a 3-page mini. Oh, right. Okay, so we did talk earlier, I think it was last week. Was it last week? About doing a mini comic during the stream. Now that'll be different. That'll be a different thing. I definitely want to do that. But it doesn't have to be Castle Dracula. It can be anything, right? But I think you guys will get a kick out of that. So we'll definitely be doing that. Do a mini stream. Oh no. Okay, so the mini comic stuff that I will do. I want to have an idea of what it is, like a lay out the project in a in a sense, right? But yes, what the whole point of that was what we all talked about, which is it'll be every week, every Wednesday we'll go over it, and we'll talk about it during the show, so that everybody that wants to can participate and share with everybody else. Absolutely. And you guys can watch me do it, and then kind of, if that helps you out, blah 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 blah. All right, so I'm actually really not feeling this face here, but I don't think it's horrible. So if we got time before we go into inks, we'll dress it up here. All right, so he's got his little armor pieces here. Oh yeah, Pillow. Pillow's saying it right on. If you want, you can go check out right now if you want. Take a look at your calendar, look at whatever the date was for last Wednesday, and then go to YouTube and you can watch, just scrub through it. Somebody asked me, who was it? It was Jim. Jim wanted some help with a comic page if the layout was good. Um, just some feedback. And what ended up happening was, I guess, I don't want to say I went overboard, but whatever, I kind of took over and said I would change a lot of it. And I think we ended up moving it to 2 pages. And so if you're interested in hearing like layout or thought process behind that, you check it out. It actually turned out really well. I learned a bunch of stuff from it. You guys seem to enjoy it, so it's all good. All right, let's draw some techie stuff here. I don't know what the hell this is. All right, we have something here. Yeah. So this is the carving out drawing stuff that I'm talking about. It's just like using your kneadable eraser. You just start carving shapes out, and you pick the lines. So you see all the scribbles here? We just grab our eraser, and you just go in here, and you just pick the lines you want. Wait, was the flying guy over the construction site? No, it was different. Line sculpting. That's it, James. It was called. It's a western. There's a guy on a horse taking a prisoner in zombies. But I didn't get a chance to draw the zombies, so it's kind of bummed out. So this tech here, I'm just gonna keep it pretty simple. I don't want to Tech isn't something that I'm really good at. I haven't practiced it, so. Let's get these giant hooks here. So what's supposed to be happening here is these machines are putting on his metal arm and his eye. I think he's being installed here, kind of. Should probably save it. Alright, let's just copy all this here. I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. Oh wow, what the hell? Am I cheating again? Absolutely. I just need it so I can see what's going on here before we get into the inks. The scribbles with Jonathan are last Wednesday. Oh, it's not? What? Oh, you. Thanks, guys. I let you down. I uploaded it and I forgot to publish it. So, thanks for letting me know. Oh, the head's way off. Yeah, the head's way, way off. But I will publish it tonight. Sorry about that. I'll do it first thing after the stream. Alright, so what we're going to do here, let's put some like... Here, I need to do this here. We're going to get a big fat brush here and just sort of figure this out. Maybe get like a lot of arms kind of coming out here. I don't know what they're doing just yet, but just trying to understand where a lot of the shape is going to be. Now we can start line sculpting here. Oh, okay. I don't think you guys are talking about it. What's that? Sorry. Jonathan, just steal the device from Superman the Animated Series, the Phantom Zone episode. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I haven't watched that show. Oh, whenever he was bitching about my Viking armor. No, I don't think that. I think that was 2 weeks ago, actually. But it was a good critique, so don't feel bad about it. So Lars is talking about writing, so I just wanted to go and talk a little bit about that. I figured, why not? You guys might be interested in it. I'd like to know what you guys are using. What's it? Sorry, maybe tech is like function since the arm is only supported by one end. Oh, I'll be putting some more stuff here. But yeah, I mean this. I'm just trying to go for what looks hopefully cool. I'm not trying to go for function here, which probably won't be. It'll make it look worse because of that. So you're right on that. So writing, I picked up this book. I don't know if you guys have tried it or read it. If you have, let me know what your experience was. It Sid Field. It's not his screenplay book, but it's his workbook, I guess, where there's a lot more hands-on practice and stuff. And it's really cool. It's exciting because like I've said before, I can't. When we get to Castle Dracula, I can't do that wing on my seat here and just figure it out as we go. I can't, just that sounds so horrible. Like it's scary to me. I'd rather know where I'm going, like what the point of the whole thing is. I suppose the argument too could be like if I maybe that is the experiment, right? It's just pick a topic or a subject or a thing to draw and just draw and see where it takes you, right? Perspective grid. Oh yeah, no, I won't be putting a perspective grid in this at all. Oh, the perspective looks one. Oh, because of this, yeah. I think it's just this part here, maybe. Alright, so let's put. What the hell is that? A knife? This thing needs like hands on here. Some sort of clamp action. So what we're talking about writing. Oh yeah. So what have you guys actually been looking at for writing? Anybody that's out there writing, or are you just like a naturalist where you can just sit down and I know it's just like drawing, where the only way you're gonna get better at writing is to write. But just like drawing, we all look at anatomy books and ask people and talk to people, try to figure out if there's text out there or video or tutorials, right, that we can check out. Just get our stuff a little better. What's that? If I crit you like I did last week, tell you to shut up. Oh, no, no. Don't worry. If you got critiques, guys, go ahead. If I pouted or if I got upset by people critiquing my work, there's no way you can grow. There's no way you can get better if all of a sudden people start telling you all the time your shit's amazing. If I'm the only guy that's critiquing my stuff, that's a problem. And on the other hand, I mean, yeah, there's ways you can filter out and tell when people are just being jerks. You can usually tell. If you guys ever had somebody asked, or if you've ever asked anybody to critique your stuff, and they just came across as like salty, like just what the hell is wrong with them? And they didn't even offer any solutions. Like if they started telling you like just stop, you suck, that's anyway. Brett, I've written an outline, but not sure if I should move to layouts or just write a full script. Hmm, that's a tricky one. Uh, Personally, I know I like to do. It's sort of like I find when I'm starting stuff, and this isn't with the actual script writing or anything, that drawing and writing at the same time yields better results. That just might be because we're doing art. Like we are the whole workflow. I'm not sure if that's why or not, but so for Castle Dracula, I think last week I showed you guys some stuff that I would do. I'll show you guys again because I'm proud of it because I'm excited about it. That's all. And it's none of this will actually be in the comic that I know of, but it's fun for me to do this. So I want to show it off a little bit. And it helps with the writing stuff myself. What's that? Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogler. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, thank you. But I like to print out. I'm going to do a video on this too because I think a lot of people just love process. If I love process, other people gotta love it. It's just the way it is. I can't be the only one. So if there's only a few of you in here that love process, sorry, but hopefully you guys will enjoy some of the stuff. But when I'm doing these like little character sketches and what I'm gonna show you guys here in a second, it's awesome because I can print it out. I only have like a black and white printer, a toner printer. I recommend everybody if you can afford it, get a toner printer. Man, it's so cool. I know I would love to be able to print colored stuff, but toner lasts so long, and really all I ever need is gray work stuff printed, and it's sharp stuff. Fuck, it's good. And I've lightboxed with that toner stuff before, and oh man, it is juicy. So I'll print that out, and I'll have a whole bunch of like folders around, or one folder, sorry, a whole bunch of images around once it's time to get going on a project to see if it's something that I want to do. And I just put that around my room, in my drawing area here. And that way I can always look at it and the ideas hopefully stick in my brain and then eventually will come back one day for a better solution. Because like I find when I'm drawing this stuff, and I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about, but I draw this stuff and when I'm creating characters, especially in the beginning stages, it's all questions. It's not even this Castle Dracula stuff, and I'm glad I haven't moved forward on it because I look at the character design right now, and he's fine, but he can't stay the way he is, and there's reasons for that. And I think my day job has taught me this a lot more so than comic books. Because comic books, I find, tend to be go, 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 right? In the video game stuff that we do, we could be working on a project for, oh, geez, half a year. In the initial stages of development of art, style, all of that, by the time it ships, it's probably gone through like, oh my god. An example would be, I know we've done like our last game that I did a lot of work on was Super Gem Heroes. It's a match 3 game, and we were worried about the world map, like how the character goes around. And if anybody's played Candy Crush or anything like that, usually the world maps look like something like this, and it'll have a circle, and it's just a path. It's like an adventure path. There's nothing special about it. But I'm not very good at doing this. This is new territory for me. So I would bang my head all the time trying to get something good. And eventually we would land on one and we put it in so the developers could mess around with it. We could play test it and all that stuff like that. And the problem is that it was just, after a while, it's still not working and you move on to other things and eventually you got to come back to it. So I had to redraw that world map. Oh my god. I think 3 or 4 times, and each time was so much work. And to know that it gets scrapped like that at any time, I mean, that's what I think comic books and animation, when I was in that at St. Clair College, that's what that stuff taught me is you can't fall in love with your art. There's always got to be something that you can improve on. And especially in video games and especially in comic books, unless you're doing it all yourself, when you work with other people, right, it's a process. It takes time to get that to go, and by the end of it, it'll be a better product, right? So who else we got here? Elena, I have no idea who that is. Okay, so let me just grab that other stuff here. I don't know what's going on here with this. So this kind of goes into what I was just talking about. is you see this tech, we're going to call it right in there, technology stuff. That is, what is that? That's nothing. If I had time to come back to this, I would make this better. Right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm just putting things in here that look techy, and I think that's what it does do. It just looks techy. It doesn't feel techy. Such a weird way of saying it. But I believe, like, as comic book artists and stuff, right? We got, like, you can't just sit around all the time waiting for the best thing to happen. Sometimes you have to just ship something. You got to give your client what they want, and you don't get days or weeks or months to come back and go, you know what, okay, now it's time I can go back in there and fix it. Just like the world map that I was talking about. You're not afforded all these luxuries all the time of time, right? So that's why you sort of have to have that. The more you do this kind of stuff, the more it's going to just work to a degree the first few times you do it. And the more you do it, if you look at any concept artist, and I recommend all you guys here that are into comic books and stuff, look at concept artists, watch concept artist videos on YouTube, listen to how they talk about production, listen to how they create worlds and characters, all relevant. It's all very relevant stuff. Hey, Michael. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left here. So what we're going to do real quick too, if you guys want, I'm going to pop up some of the stuff that I was just talking about for, we can go through some of the art here for Castle Dracula. But we'll do a critique tonight. What the hell? If you guys wanted to do a critique, by all means, please paste it in the chat right now in all capitals with a link to where the image is. And please, please, please include what it is that you would like critiqued about it. That way it's not just like, look at my stuff, okay? And if we don't hear from anybody, that's cool. Maybe we can try it next week as well. Okay, so let's start looking through our Castle Dracula folders so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So what I was talking about earlier about idea generation and stuff is, so in here, in this file, I've just got the main character currently where he's at. His name's Pierre. Don't really like the name. We're going to switch it up. That's fine. But if we go into the concepts, I think I have some stuff in here. Yeah, okay. So let's just preview so you guys can see it. And I know a few of you remember all this stuff. May have been lost in time on some of you. But we'll just go through it. So I know we did some of these during the stream. So like this, I remember there's certain story elements that were in here for the Bat King, I believe his name was. And you know, his ring finger was, or a finger was missing, and we started talking briefly about what the story idea was for that. So what I like to do with this, or what I will be doing, is you just print this out. I kind of have it in a folder, or I'll stick it to my walls, whatever makes sense, and I can just jot little notes on the side of it for these to be like plot points or subplots in the story, you know, things that might be fun to talk about. And then I might look at the design and go, you know what, I'm not feeling it, have to change it. Excuse me. So this was where we ended up with Pierre, the main character, so far. And again, like I said, a lot of the things I really do like about this character, the design, I like the colors, I like a lot of the things. However, the problem that I have, and I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it, is that the initial reason for this project was I saw an artist that I'm a big fan of, Corey Lewis. You guys might know him as Ray online. He did a mini comic based on Metroid. And it was Samus as a bounty hunter, but what she would do in her off time, and he renamed her and stuff like that. It was just sort of like a homage, a tribute comic sort of thing. Is she would go around all these different planets taking photographs with her gun and posting them on Instagram. That was the whole point of the thing. So I saw that and I was like, you know what's really fun? I like that idea. It's simple, it's fun, but with most of my stuff is when I try to go simple with it, the idea just grows and grows, and I'm not disciplined enough to just do a small thing. I feel like I need to build it up. That's what gets me excited and fun to do this whole thing. So this is obviously based on Castlevania, even with the name, the vampire stuff, all that. But the problem is he looks very much, in my opinion anyway, as like Simon Belmont or the guy from Castlevania. Obviously he doesn't look like that, but the colors and the barbarian, the whole headband thing, this might just be too on the nose, I'm not sure yet. That might be fine. I might be just thinking too much into it. But at this point, I'm not like at the time we stopped this. This was the final design, and I was excited for it. This one, I was very excited and kept moving on. Then you guys saw this one. This was like the original design here. We did the painting there, but this here is where we ended up going, right? It's more colorful. I believe I even actually tried using some of the colors from the original sprite from the game, the Nintendo sprite. And then this one again. But this was some fun stuff, trying to figure out Dracula, trying to look at, just where I wanted to go with him. This one's going to be a tricky design to go with because I don't want him to look like Count Dracula. Like Count Dracula I think has been played a little bit too... I don't want him looking fun. I want him to look like this. This is the sort of feel I want for him, which is a lot. Here, let me zoom in because I know you guys can't really see it that well. But this one just feels more like he's an ancient being or creature, right? Like he has some... It's like stone. You see how it's like... This is a texture. This is a painting. It has nothing to do with anything. But the stone, I like the idea of stone on his costume and stuff. And this was a cool thing to add too. This was just, again, this is why I recommend doing this stuff for your comic. And it's great for ideas, guys. So there's a vial that he has of blood. And I don't know whose vial that'll be. Maybe it's, there's the cliche. It could be his dead wife. It could be the first person he killed. It could be his own blood before he changed. That's a cool little twist, right? But that's like a little subplot or just something that adds something to the character, some background to him. And then this one, again, was a little bit more drawn in a different style I was thinking of. But this right here, this sums up what I like to do a lot, just to get an idea out of my head and come back to it. So this could be what this did. I had no idea with what this was. But as I drew it, where it ended up going was, well, what if Dracula was, back in like medieval days, and he had this really cool European thick armor and stuff like that, and the text was something, right? Something that you wouldn't think. Like this is designed to look like Dracula in a way, but the text he's saying is he's bringing the head of Dracula to whoever else commissioned him to do this or put a bounty on Dracula's head, or who knows what the original Dracula was like, right? Like this. What I like about this is once I get down to scripting in our first pass, this is something I can definitely go back and use, right? I can go in and go, there was a time when you get to learn about this guy that ends up being Dracula, right? Or maybe that's not his name. The castle that he's in is the guy's heads that's here, and this vampire dude ends up taking over. Who knows, right? But again, that's the whole point of this, is I can have a little speech bubble with some text, which gives a little hook or an angle or something to it with some artwork that might not ever get used, but it has a feel to it, and it has something to it. Has something else to it besides just jotting down a note or doing something else. And this is a very quick one. This is still me pulling away, trying to pull away again from the Count Dracula sort of feel. He's still got the reds and the light blues, which they work together, and the purples for villains and stuff, but it's not... It's not good. It's not good. And this is a very simple version of the main character. Again, this would be good to draw for comic books because there's not much detail in there. It's just very easy to do. The more detail you get in stuff, it looks cooler and all that. So here's, I think, the original design we had for him. Remember, we're making boxes for everything. I still want him to be almost like the Hulk, like we keep talking about, the Juggernaut, I guess, just a giant rectangle. Doesn't look very mobile, but very strong. And the thing that gives him vitality and life is the whip. It's all motion. It's all directions. He doesn't do much motion, but that whip is going crazy. And this was a first test at doing something like that. So you can see he's not moving at all. This guy is a rock. But if you look at the whip, I'm trying to obviously guide the eye here from top left, kind of going down here. But that's all the motion you need. He can stand still, and the idea that I had here is you can have this up and down motion like a shake weight, and it would just be doing all these crazy whips and flips and smacking a bunch of dudes around and stuff like that. So, and actually, I believe his body armor here is something I want to go back to. It's very, very simple. This was the last one that I just did here. Again, just throwing some color in there. No idea if this is going to be a colored book yet. No clue. But I was practicing some painting stuff, and what the hell? Let's go ahead and two birds with one stone here, or sorry, two bird stone. We can have a whole bunch of stuff like that. This was a quick comic idea, sort of following it. I'd like to have this in there. I thought it was really cool, where all of a sudden you see this sword flip up, and it stabs this undead thing in the chest. But the main character here is using his whips to tie the guy's neck and hands while he kicks the sword through his chest. Just something cool. It doesn't flow very well, but again, it's just idea stuff. Just find ways to get ideas down. And that's where we're at right here. I don't know if there's anything else. I think I'm going to jump into your guys' stuff here. But again, I just wanted to show you guys this because there is value in doing this for your own stuff. And this is going back to you're not sure if you should just go in to just do a script and all that stuff. I would recommend go bounce back and forth. Bounce back and forth. Is how you say it. So again, this is the thing. I want him to. He still doesn't look like he's very. There's not a lot of motion to him. He's very thick and like a rock kind of thing. But the whip is pure motion. Pure motion. Again, color test and stuff. I actually like the way this one's going, the direction this is going. I think I'm going to go back to something a little bit closer to that. And that'll be about it. Okay, so thanks, guys, for going back down a little memory lane trip here. So I did receive a private message from somebody. I wasn't able to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here and scroll. I'm just going to randomly pick somebody's art here. And remember, I'm asking for you guys to have a little bit of background to what it is that you're looking to get critiqued here, okay? Scrolling. Okay, so I'm gonna butcher your name and I apologize. Rezus TV, I believe is the name. And he or she is looking for this to be critiqued. Look into the colors, composition, and anatomy. So we're going to go for the works here. So I'm going to just copy this. Give me a second here, you guys. All right, copy. You're a male. Okay. That's good. All right, so la 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 la. What is this 50 Shades of Grey stuff you guys talk about? I haven't seen a lot of the chat. You guys are probably getting wild out there. Okay, so let's delete all this here and we'll paste in the image. All right, so we got that. Let me just do one more quick thing here. I'm just going to crop the image here. Edit, crop. Yes, we don't need all that canvas size. Okay, so let's grab our pen. We're going to grab our red. So we can edit this stuff, and we'll also do blue. You never know when you might need a couple different styles. All right, here we go. So we got some blue action and some red. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's zoom in here so everybody can see it. Okay. Ask my girlfriend about the 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, did she tell you I read it? Oh, I can tell you guys, yeah, I have read it. The first book I didn't read. I got the Cliff Notes for the second two. So by default, it sounds like I have to defend myself. But the podcast I used to listen to, Art and Story, they talked about watching things that the general public finds interesting just to see if I can figure out what it is that's in that and why that's getting people's interest. What is in there that makes that many people like something? Even though, in my opinion, it was horrible, and there's a lot of things that I don't like. Twilight, I don't like. There's things like that, but that's fine. Not everybody has to like everything, right? That's the point. Not everybody likes everything. But when there's a mass group of people that like something, I want to somewhat have an idea of what it is to see if there's like a nugget of gold that's in there that you might be able to bring into your own stuff to get more people to like your sort of thing, right? So that's why. No, after this, I'm going to try to critique this in 10 minutes. Hopefully, we'll get there. Anyway, back to this. All right, so one thing I wanted to start doing with you guys is we didn't do this with the critique before, or any of them before, is just flipping the image. Now, what this will do, I don't know if you guys have done this before, but once you stare at this for a while, things you don't like about an image will pop up right away, but when you flip it, brand new things will pop up right away. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to make a little check, or little notes here. One thing I don't like myself, and this is just a style thing, let me just get some room, is your values are off. Values off. And I'll go through these and talk with you. Values are off. It doesn't seem like there is any point of focus. That's some pretty impressive handwriting there. And I'm not really sure what's going on. So let's put confusing. Okay, so let's go over these just so we can go. And I will put out there one more time for everybody else that's watching, and hopefully you guys get something out of this. I don't try to critique aggressively just to put somebody down. This is all my values and my opinions on this. So you can tell me to go to hell, I'm a piece of garbage, all that stuff, that's fine. I'm just trying to help people out in what I think is off with it. And if it helps you, awesome. If it helps somebody else that's watching this, awesome. If it doesn't help any of you guys, that's fine. You can end the show now. And no harm done, and we'll see you in the next live stream. So let's go through it here, okay, real quick. So the values are off. What are values? Values, really quickly, for those of you that don't know, are black. If you were to make everything black and white, things shouldn't blend together, and they should play off of each other. So an example would be if I was drawing Batman in a comic panel like this, and you've seen a bunch of people do this. If I just did this with Batman, maybe give him some eyes, and we fill that black. This is an explanation of values, okay? So you can see Batman right away, and he works like this because the background is an opposing value, okay? So this could be light gray, anything, but the darker gray this background gets, and I'll show you, the more Batman gets lost. Okay, so we're going to fill it black. So obviously now, if everything is the same value, you're not going to see Batman. So what I'm going to do is start lowering the opacity here. So we're at 80%. He's still pretty hard to see, but you can see him, right? Let's go down to like around 50%. It's getting better. You can see him a little bit better now, right? 25%. That looks really good. And then nothing, 100%. Awesome. Right? It's clear. That's the whole point, of just being clear about it, okay? So let's take a look at the values that you have going right now. And if this is like Photoshop, I should be able to make an adjustment layer. Correction layer, is that it? Hue saturation, sure, I guess so. So we're going to go, there you go. So all I did there is make a new layer and desaturate the entire thing so you can see what's going on here, okay? So this is some stuff that's really good. You have like this white area up here with the clouds, and then the gray of the sky, and then like a dark gray for the plains. All that's clear, it's popping, you can see it all, right? So the next thing you have here is a lot of, this is very heavy. This darkness, this pure black that you have, and I know this is comic book style, so there has to be some leniency here because of heavy blacks. I understand that, that's fine. But look what happens here. The tone in this guy's hair, and I didn't even notice this. I noticed this before the end, is he's shooting something, it's this monster over here. And this should really be talked about in the confusing part. of this. But even just adding like a little gunshot here or something, you know, like a something to just connect that a little bit better. And so the thing is, when you got all these dark tones here like this guy is as dark as, okay, let me get the blue here. This guy is the same tone as this guy, who's the same tone as this guy, which is the same tone as that in the back. So that means all of those guys are supposed to be on the same plane. That's why they have the same tone. The further away things get, the lighter they generally get because atmosphere is affecting them. Okay? So this fire, I know, is in the distance because it's smaller, but it's as rich and it has the same color values as these guys in the front, especially this dude in the top right or top left. Okay? So that's a problem. Point of focus, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at is the problem that I had with this one. Usually your eye looks top left and then tries to get off that way. But with composition, you can keep people going, right? So when I first looked at this thing, I was looking at this. I didn't know what was going on here. Then I saw this, you got this cool curve coming in. So what this is telling me now is that the point of this composition is to keep doing this. Is you got a circle composition going on, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, all right, so let's just go there and see where that takes us. So it's rounding around. You got this fire kind of coming up back into here, which is good. You got this guy coming here. Again, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why this guy's shooting at this. There's like some perspective issues here, that's all. And there's some weird, the weird part here, the confusing thing that I'll just add is we've got these really, they look like fighter jets from today with this guy that I'm not sure what he's from, but he's riding a rocket, which is, you know, badass. But then you got this spellcaster shooting lightning at him and these brain flying things. And then they're in like the desert somewhere. So I don't know, again, I don't know the context of this. If I was drawing Batman, everybody knows Batman, so we can talk about it. So let's just go. Let's talk about what's good about it. Let's see if there's got to be something redeeming of these things, right? Or else what's the point of going on there? The first thing that popped out that looked really cool to me was you've got some lighting going on that looks really nice. You've got some heavy blacks and heavy shadows. I think just the color you put in here was too dark. That's all to make these shadows really pop. I think they look really well. You've got some really nice background work going here. There's some depth. Excuse me. And what else we got here? I like this guy's face. His body's actually really well done. This arm needs a little work, especially the spikes, and maybe we can quickly. I'll just do it right now just to show you. So the reason why those spikes look a little off to me, anyway, is you have this hand that's going this way. Let me zoom in here a little bit. And you've got his gauntlet here and his bicep going into his shoulder. Okay, but this thing still is in perspective, so there's circles, you know, going around here. So instead of just putting spikes on the sides to save yourself trouble from figuring out the perspective, start with one here and then wrap it around. It's kind of hard to draw with this pen, so you just have to trust me here. So spike would come over here and then it would wrap back around, and it would get longer as it gets further away. You know, and it helps add that push there. That's just kind of helping you out there. Okay, so we're going to try to do this very quickly. We'll see how successful we get. New layer, please. Okay. How are we going to do this? Let's go underneath of it, I guess. So I'm just going to try to redraw it-ish. Okay, so what I do, if this was my drawing, or if I don't know if somebody told you what to draw here, if this is like a promotional piece for yourself. So this, we got Spellcaster. He's attacking. I'm gonna assume. I want to say the Spellcaster, just by the way this is going. He looks like a bad guy. Only because he's attacking the guy that's shooting these brain things. These brain things look more evil than the Spellcaster, so I'm just using that. So everybody's attacking this guy. So this guy is the focus, the rocket riding guy. So I want to just keep the same thing that you got going on here. And let's see if we can just build it up. So this rocket looks a little pushed in the bend. If you're going to use something that dramatic, everything else has got to follow that same drama. So if you've got the guy on here, maybe bring his gun closer to us. And I would still put that spark there, and right in the foreground like you have it, you can have this guy here with the getting chunked. Okay. So what I would also do too is just to help this composition, I'd make those brain chunks even come up here. You need a focus point. That's what I'm trying to go at. So what I'm trying to do is make this guy the focus. And whenever it's a character, usually it's the face. The face is usually where everybody wants to look. So you're going to have a little couple chunks and blood kind of splattering out, but enough kind of going to his face like this, okay? So we're going to have that going there. I'm going to actually just try to build up on your drama a bit, and I'm going to kind of bend the background a little, and I'll put some mountains here. I'm going to show you about the tone thing in a second. Like that. Again, we need things all going at him. So we've got like this fire thing in the background. I don't know what that is, but we'll put it in there. Put it off in the distance. And probably put even like one of these brain things here in the foreground here. Just to help balance it out. Get this guy. You gotta get this lightning dude too. So I'm just trying to figure out places to put this. So he's got lightning coming from behind him, shooting it at the guy. I'm just going to flip it here just to see if we get a different feel for it. So right away I can see that we're going to need some more black on this side. So maybe we're going to do something here called repeating shapes so that people know what's going on. So just by putting this one tentacle thing up here and possibly another tentacle thing down here, when we go ahead and we do this, we're going to draw like little ones in the background with these, I don't know, like, yeah, they got tentacle eyes there and some wings. But now, anytime you see things with these tentacle eyes, right, you're going to know exactly what it is because it's a repeating shape. It's the same thing going on there. As for the airplanes, I don't know. I would get rid of them personally, unless if I'm looking at this now that I'm actually looking at it, it looks like this airplane shot the rocket, which makes this guy even more badass. Somehow he's riding a rocket that just got shot. The G-forces didn't just destroy him. So that's kind of cool. So what we can do is, I'll try to keep that in there. So let's get some smoke. Again, trying to get it to all point at this guy's face. But we want that framing going on. And maybe we can just put like the airplanes back here. There's a lot going on here. That's one of the problems. And we're trying to keep this clear. Okay, so we have that. So the one thing I would do is, once you have this, like this didn't take much time, and I would honestly do this all the time with any illustration you do. You guys see me do thumbnails all the time. This is why it's so important, because it takes time, and if this doesn't work, you got to do another one, and that sucks. But it'll save you time down the road when you're like, why doesn't something work? If you can figure it out here, you're pretty much golden, okay? From here, what I would do if I knew I was going to color this, this gets more instinctual as you go, but only ever use 3. You can kind of use 4, but we'll use 3. 3 shades of gray. Okay, so you can either use white, gray, black. I wouldn't recommend black, but white, gray, dark gray. Okay, that's what we're going to use. We're going to use white, gray, dark gray. And the idea is anything that's in the background is white, middle ground is gray, foreground is dark gray, okay? And just build it up like that. So we're going to start with the background. It's all white, right? So it's there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some gray. Why is that red? There we go. And I'm just going to use my lasso tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to start building everything up that's in the middle ground. So right away, I know this background's in the middle ground. Right here. Kind of want to put some of these mountains in the middle ground too. That way, this is the other cool thing you do with the color, right? Like if you have some of these mountains in the foreground plus the background, then it really instantly puts some depth on them. It makes them feel like they're pushed further behind there, okay? And you got these little tentacle dudes or these flying guys. They're all in gray. Not all of them, but some of them. And even, well, actually, no, that's fine. I'm going to put this guy in the same here. So this is where it gets a little tricky because these guys in the absolute foreground, they would be the darkest color. Oh, shit, because I got... Alright, so we're going to have to just paint them because I made a boo-boo. And just for sake of argument here, I'm going to put this guy in a little rocket. Oops. And I forgot our little lightning guy. Okay, so right away, all I did here, again, you can figure out your composition, do what you like, make it a little bit more dramatic if you wish. I'm just asking you to do this when you're thinking of your values for your colors, because now when you go in there, it's not just, okay, this is white, gray, red, this guy's blue. You have to tone it to what this is supposed to be. So real quick example here. So if I'm just going to eyedrop this gray, look how dark that is. This guy's... hair, or I don't know what the hell this is. We'll say it's blue. So I'm going to go into the blues here and just kind of stay around where that tone was, you know? Oh, shit. Oh, Manga Studio. Okay, so you see how that blue, he's still blue, but he's toned to the blue that he's supposed to be. And it might not even look like, I think a lot of people, they default and they go, you know, he's blue, so you go way blue. You've got all this area in the middle. That's the one thing I would say from learning color that is very important, and I'm glad that I'm learning it, is that always staying around this middle is actually very good. It lets you push your range into bright things, light things, and dark things. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap that up there. I mean, I hope that helped a little bit. If anything felt a little unclear, please just let me know right now, and I'll stick around after the stream's recorded here and just answer your question. But I want to say thank you, everybody that popped in today. I had a blast. I hope you guys had a good time. And if you're in now, just so you don't miss it next week, this stream is every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check your clock right now and subtract an hour and a half. We went a little late today, but subtract an hour and a half from that, and an hour and a half from now, and then you'll be good to go. Up at the top here on picarto.tv, all you need to do is make an account, and you can click the follow button. And what that'll do is send you an email whenever we go live with the stream, plus all the random streams I do throughout the week where we listen to some music and chit-chat. Sometimes I can help you guys out. Hopefully it'll get a little bit better as my deadlines start to clear up. Okay, there's a bunch of quick questions in the chat. I'm going to answer that once I stop the recording here. So again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And if you guys wanted to head on over to picarto.tv, you guys can follow me there. If you wanted to head over to patreon.com/JonathanRector, I would love all the support you could give me there. I really appreciate the people that are doing so far. Thank you guys so much. You make a lot of what's going to be coming possible, so thank you for that. And if you didn't want to do any of that, if you just wanted to follow, if you wanted to share, retweet, all the Facebook fun stuff, Google Plus, whatever you're at, I appreciate that too. That helps the community grow, and it helps everybody else kind of find each other and have some fun and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get out of here. I just want to say thank you guys once again, and like usual, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.